It's important because we need more women leaders. We need leadership to be more accessible for women as well. But to achieve either of those things, we need women who are already in positions of leadership to be visible with their leadership.
Hello, everyone. Elle Ballard is here today with Angela. Hi, Angela. Welcome.
Hi, Elle. Thank you.
Awesome to have you all the way from Sydney, Australia. I'm excited for this conversation. And of course, we are on the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast. Before we jump into our conversation with Angela, I want to introduce her. So, with more than 2 decades in corporate PR and crisis and issues management, Angela led reputation programs for multinational businesses, built thought leadership strategies for businesses and leaders, and been the driving force behind the successful creation of CEO and executive profiles. Today, she applies the asset-based approach to reputation she utilized with her corporate clients to deliver results-focused multi-platform reputation strategies for two types of her clients: businesses that deserve recognition but don't have it yet, and leaders who deserve a space as a thought leader and want to be visible with ease and purpose. Beautiful. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you.
What led you to do this work? Why did you choose this work?
Well, I'd been working in public relations for a number of years, and I started working for myself after I had my first baby because I wanted to be able to, work flexibly, but do work that had meaning for me and work with clients that I'd been working with a long time. I sort of finished up working on PR consultancies when I went on my maternity leave. And I'd been doing that for a number of years, just working with clients on sort of whole of business reputation work. So I might look after their crisis and issues management when they had an issue with the media or a customer. And then I might do their proactive PR and their profiling for their executives and just, communication strategy stuff for businesses. But in 2017, I had an executive referred to me who had been the director of a company that had been found guilty of investor fraud. And his name was in media coverage that was still all over Google, even though this had happened 10 years ago. And he wanted to be able to move on and continue with his career. He was a really good, decent person who'd just been caught in a bad situation. So I started working with him to turn that around and really sort of start to take ownership of his profile. And what that did was, I guess, plant an idea that maybe that there are other leaders out there who wanted help with their reputation. Maybe they weren't as extreme a situation as what this person was, but they still weren't sure where to start, wanted to look like an expert from the beginning, and are time pressured. So they don't have time to figure it all out and do it themselves because they're really busy running their business and leading their people. And so that's what started me working in reputation with leaders who want to develop a profile as a thought leader and really add value to the audience that they want to build. And then also to businesses who want to build the profile of their business and their brand via PR, but they also have a CEO or a managing director or maybe even a small executive team that want to build their profile so that they get results, but also so it feels like it's aligned to who they are as a leader and as a person.
I love that focus. Now that you kind of went into more depths and explaining it, I love niche focus and reputation based and all of that. And I love that you're doing that. And so then this is I know that you are based in Sydney, Australia, but this could be, you could work with anyone worldwide or?
Yeah, that's right. I feel like probably COVID changed that for a lot of people, but COVID really changed that for me. A lot of my clients would be local prior to COVID, but COVID sent everyone online. And now I work with clients across Australia, and I do have some clients from overseas because the work that I do, I may have clients who want to build their profile in the media, but a lot of my clients want to build their profile on social media, primarily LinkedIn, but also they may want to start doing some speaking at events and conferences and things like that. And you can really do that work from anywhere in the world.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's great. So in building this, your own niche, right? Both in professional world and as a business of your own, and being a woman in business and, multinational women in business, and now in global business, what are some of the lessons? And I can imagine there are so many, probably, right? What is one of the lessons that you could share with our listeners?
One of the lessons for me personally, running my own business, is that when you have your own business, it's great because you can work anywhere. You can work from home, you can work from an office, you can work from your car, like really wherever you are, you can do it. But it doesn't mean that you need to work everywhere. You need to be good with boundaries. And so there needs to be time to work, but I, have 3 children. So there needs to be time to be a mum, and sometimes you need to multitask that, but not always. So yeah, a lesson is be good with your boundaries because it's going to benefit your business in the long run by sort of stepping away, taking breaks, but I feel like as a business owner, also there's also always something more you could be doing, isn't there? So really sort of being self-disciplined and making that work for you is something that I've learned over the years.
I love that. Yeah, and we keep hearing that always, right? But then sometimes it's so hard to apply.
Oh, I'm not saying I get it right all the time.
Started, applying this, and the boundaries, and I'm also a mother, right? And I love spending time. And actually, for me, it's one of the priorities to be able to, create this work-life balance. I love talking about that. I love calling it that way. When we are, and I've seen it in my own life where I'm busy, I'm working in my business, but then I'm also doing something outside of that business. But sometimes, and I'm doing better, putting in boundaries. I've realized, wow, it's actually not easy to say no to something that you used to saying yes to, whatever that.
Yes.
There is also that profound understanding and awareness that for the next level, or really for the growth, we need to do that, right, for ourselves, and really just have that alignment with understanding if this is helping me to get to the next level, or if this,
Yeah.
whatever that is. So I love that. Thank you for sharing. We talked briefly about the gap a little bit before we started this podcast, and I want to bring it to visibility for women, right, and women leaders, women in leadership positions. So why visibility for women and women in leadership positions is so important today in your mind?
It's important because we need more women leaders. We need leadership to be more accessible for women as well. But to achieve either of those things, we need women who are already in positions of leadership to be visible with their leadership. And a lot of the time, the women that I work with, completely expert in the areas that they're working in, but they haven't been as visible with their leadership as they could be because there's something holding them back. A lot of the time, those reasons that hold them back wouldn't necessarily hold their male counterpart back from being visible. And so by more women being visible and, showing how they lead and who they are as a leader, it makes female leadership more acceptable and just everyday. But what it also does is show other women what's possible in terms of leadership and career and leading a business and being visible. not only for the women who are about to step into leadership positions, but for the women who in 5, 10, 15, 20 years who are going to follow them. It really breaks down those barriers. And because, leadership is a primarily male-dominated field, on public platforms like in the media or on social media, more male leaders are visible, which is great. There are some amazing male leaders out there who are entirely expert and are very generous with their expertise, and their audiences really benefit from their visibility. But there are women out there who deserve to be visible and can add the same value that their male counterparts already do.
Yeah, I love that. And I love this idea of being a role model, reminder, really, being a role as a woman, stepping up, but also for younger girls, right, growing up, looking at their mothers or sisters or grandmothers or just anybody outside that they see. I think that's just such an important part of it. But I want to go a little bit deeper into what do we mean by visibility, and maybe also touch on why is it not more prevalent for women? Is it the fear? Is it fear of really going out there with your message and being confident enough, or what are some of the factors you have seen?
So when I work with leaders, there are some common barriers that people will have when they're considering being more visible with their leadership. And they're completely valid, but a lot of those will be time is probably the number one barrier for most leaders when it comes to building their reputation, which, as I mentioned before, is entirely understandable. They have a really big workload. They have often a large workforce to lead. They're busy leading their business and growing their business. But a lot of people, when they're considering, stepping out and being visible on social media or in the media, they look to thought leaders who've been doing it for a number of years, decades even, who may have teams of people helping them with that work that they're doing. And they think that they need to be doing all of the things that influential person is doing as well. And that's not necessarily the case. Those people who are kind of big name thought leaders have, one, been doing that work for a really long time, but they also have support. And a lot of the time, when you have a leader who may be visible within their business and obviously with the people that they lead, when they step out and they're visible on public platforms, it can be small things that they do that really have an impact and have people start to notice them. But before you start that work, it feels like you've got to do the really big things to have any impact. So that's one thing. And then it may be that people feel that they don't know where to start. So they see people who have really well-defined topic areas that they build their profile on, and they think that they need to too. And yes, when you're, going out and going to be a leader who's building their reputation, you do need to have topic areas that you're going to talk about, but they don't necessarily need to be set in stone. You can start being visible and find your way a little bit, that it really is a journey, rather than, starting out from the destination. Other leaders I might work with, they may have been burned before. So you may have someone who has done an interview with the media before and it hasn't gone well, and they got in trouble for that, and they think, oh, I don't want to speak to the media again. Or they've seen other leaders be trolled on social media and they think, I don't want that and I don't have time for that. But there are strategies and, tactics that you can put into play to kind of protect yourself from those things and really make that work easy to fit into your everyday. And especially if you go and get support so that you know where you're going and you know the results that you want from it. Because a leader who wants to be visible, they may not want to be a visible thought leader, who's on social media every single day, doing the thing. They may have a much smaller audience that they want to build, and that's going to get them the results that they want to help grow their business faster or accelerate their leadership career or get them that promotion into the C-suite. So it's really about working with a leader so that they know the results that they want from the effort that they're going to put into this. They know who their audience is and where that audience is. So a lot of the leaders that I work with, they prioritize building their internal visibility within their own company as much as they do their external visibility, and they'll be working on those things at the same time. Other leaders may have a particular platform or some sort of, barrier that they need to overcome. They say, I'm visible on social media, but I need to go out and start speaking at conferences, and I hate public speaking, as a lot of people do. How can we get from here to there?
I love that, because it's specific framework and paths, and it's really individualized, thought through so that the people can get to where they go. And I love that. No, this is great. Thank you for explaining and really building this path for us to understand that it's not, that it's not one profile fits all.
Yeah.
And as more channels coming into social media channels and other venues, right, it's just maybe becoming a little bit more complicated as well. But that's why, working with someone like you could help guide them as well. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Now, one of the questions I like to ask when I speak to women from different countries, and of course we are on the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast, which is part of Women of the World Network. What does it mean for you to be a woman of the world?
What it means is that I can do work with meaning that I know is going to positively impact others and help them on their journey, at the same time as I build a life that has personal meaning for me and has time for the other areas of my life outside of work.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. I love that. Beautiful. Okay, so please, before we move on to the next area, I just want to remind our listeners to connect with Angela. We will post links how to connect with her in the comments of this video, or if you are listening to the audio as well. So get connected. And now I want to move to the sort of a final question, final section of our conversation today, which is rapid fire question.
Yeah, go for it.
Awesome. So my first question is, your favorite book name is?
Cloud Street by Tim Winton.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Favorite destination, international destination to visit?
Destination, oh gosh. France.
Oh yes, me too. Summer or winter?
They're my top two favorite seasons, but summer. Because of the beach.
Yes, yes. Totally can totally relate. Okay, and the final one is things that you have discovered about yourself recently.
That you need to know yourself to know and see others.
Beautiful. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment.
Yes. Love that. Love that. Thank you for being on our podcast. Thank you for sharing your time with us, Angela.
Yeah, thank you, Elle. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lovely conversation.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, our listeners, as well. We have been on the Empowered Global Women in Business podcast. If you would like to be our guest, you can email us directly. And with that, I will talk to you all soon.